Second chance lady, welcome to step 3 of our second chance protocol, and today it's all about learning about mastering mindful eating. This is one of those steps that you need to master if you want to be able to finally break free from emotional eating, never having to rely on a diet ever again, and finally be able to stop counting calories, obsessing about food in such a way that you can make positive and amazing decisions every single meal that you take. Now, first and foremost, I want to congratulate you on getting the mindful eating guide, and it's on its way in the next 15 to 20 minutes on your email box. But before we do anything else, in the next 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to learn how to be in charge of food in every single situation. Anytime you desire, anytime you travel, anytime you are faced with difficult decision, any difficult situation you might experience at work, and you're gonna learn by the end of this video what do you need to do when you face this statement that you say to yourself every single time, I know I shouldn't be eating that particular food, but I'm gonna eat one less time. What are you gonna need to do to actually change that train of thoughts? Now, who am I? This is Jerry from Execute Fitness, and of course I'm the owner of the Second Chance program. And why I'm gonna be able to help you in the next 5 to 10 minutes is because not only I help more than 500 women overcoming emotional eating and self-sabotaging in such a way that they can finally create the harmony and the relationship with food that they want, and by default, of course, be able to create that continuity so that they create that amazing body that they can love and respect. But it's not for my accolades here that you can see all my certification, not for my 20-year experience, but more than that is because I overcame myself, my emotional eating behavior, which was ingrained into my life from the passing of my father for 15 years. For 15 years, I compensated around food. For 15 years, I knew exactly how am I supposed to eat, yet every single time something became tough, I was falling in for the emotional eating. I was actually not in control of food, and every single time I was actually looking for my next diet or the next protocol because I was so much in denial on not being able to control my mistakes. And therefore, I was telling myself this story that something was wrong with my metabolism, that I was eating that food, that it wasn't good food, and as a result of that, I was never able to understand what the truth was. The truth was that food was in control of me and I'm the other way around. What you're gonna learn in the next 5 to 10 minutes is that you are gonna be in control of food and exactly what to do to be in control of food. Now, this particular step sits on step number 3 on our second chance protocol, and step number 3 is just one of the 9 steps which you're gonna need if you wanna finally stop self-sabotaging and finally build continuity and a lifestyle to be able to build an amazing body. But what can we do when we know that we have that particular food, such as burgers, such as wine, and we say, I know I shouldn't be eating that particular food, I'm gonna eat it one less time, and then I'm gonna stop. Now, how many times has this happened to you? I know that just in the last couple of weeks, this probably happened a few times already. You're telling yourself, I know that I shouldn't be eating that, but I'm gonna eat it just one less time. Every single time you do that, you give a lot of value to food. It's not about the burger, it's not about the wine, it's not even about the dessert. It's about the behavior and the value you give to that particular food. So how can we do? Well, we gotta learn how to mindfully eat, and we're gonna actually understand the principle of mindful eating. What I want you to do when you finish this video, I want you to go back to your email and I want to download that particular eating guide, and I want you to start applying those particular 5 rules that I put in that particular guide. But now, understand that if you're able to finally learn the secret of mindful eating, you're gonna be able to get these amazing results such as we see here. On the left, you see Sheila. She lost about 3.5 kilo in the first week in my program. And as you can see here, once you understand how to tackle your emotion, when you understand how to make the right choices in the moment of you eating, you're gonna be able to make amazing results. And that's going to substitute of you having to look and search every single time for a new diet. On the right here, you see Ines. Ines, she was traveling for 25 days out of the month. And I know that one of the biggest objection of people is like, I know how to eat when I'm home, but when I'm travel, I have hard time doing that. Now, as you can see here, she lost about 2 kilos and she put on a bunch of muscle in the length of 6 weeks. And she was finally able to realize that doesn't matter where you are, when you know how to make the right choices, you're able to do these particular principles anywhere you are, even if you travel 25 days out of a month. Now, one of the biggest problems people face, and as we saw before, when you say to yourself, I'm gonna eat that thing one less time and then I'm never gonna eat it again, is that you don't pay attention to detail. And most of the time people fail because of a psychological thing you say yourself you're not supposed to do. Such as, I'm just gonna have an extra bite today, it won't hurt. And as you can see here, 150 calorie, when you add that up on a daily basis, if these 150 calories are more than you're supposed to eat, adds up to about 10 cheeseburger of the end of the month, and which equals to about a kilo of fat on the end of the month. So as you can see here, it does hurt. And what hurts the most is not about the cookie itself. This could actually be a banana, but the problem is that you tell yourself these things on your mind that allow you to take it easy, that allow you to actually do this thing that you know you're not supposed to be doing. And you snack for cookies or something like that, you give in to the cravings, and you eventually will build an inflexible metabolism and a bad relationship with food. Now the issue with that is that you think that things are just happening to you. You think that you are not in control of things, and every time you experience a craving or every time you experience an emotion, you let yourself go. So today we need to learn the principle of understanding that things are just not happening to you. Things are not in control of you, food is not in control of you, but you can be in control as long as you understand how to take control every single time you eat. And the main reason of you not being in control of food or situation is because every single time you thinking about food or you eating, you don't think of the journey you actually started. If you're not clear on what your goal is or what is the importance of your goal, you're always gonna rely on instant gratification, that you might look for abdominals, for that dress, for looking like a fighter, that you want to see the strength, you want to go back to the bikini, you want to have more energy to play with your kids. But it's easy to say that, but every single time you say that, but you do not put a plan behind it, or you don't have a vision for that, every single time you're gonna fall for this game of motivation and instant gratification, and you're gonna allow food to be in control of you, and you're gonna end up living in your story, being in this hamster wheel that a year passed by or 6 months passed by, and you see other people succeeding in front of you, and yet you feel that they have it easier than you have a metabolic problem, it can happen for them but not for you, and every single time you just let things happen to you, and slowly you building up this identity that is done in a following way. From your senses, your smell, your taste, your hear, your sight, you will hear, see, and actually smell things. You actually see people in front of you being more successful, and you hear story. You hear other people doing it this way, you see other people looking better than you, and you allow yourself to actually absorb this thing. Then when processing your memories and in your brain, they are source for interpretation, and they build up belief that ultimately build up stories. So every single time you build up a story, you go back into your memories and in your past events, and you allow that to impact your life, and most of the time is for the negative. And that's how you build this identity of the emotional eater. You might have a eating disorder, you might have an eating disorder like I had in the past, yet understand that every simple eating disorder can be dispelled when you understand the triggers, and when you understand how to break the patterns, and when you how to make something new in your brain. And how do you do all that? Is simply the source of the discussion today. Is that no matter how many diets you're looking for, how many diets you try, or how many things you think that you haven't discovered yet, it's always gonna come down to take ownership upon this particular decision. There is not gonna be a diet or a protocol, no matter how hard you look, that is gonna make you want these things less. Every single time you are in the moment that you feel like you want some of these things, you need to actually build a discussion with these things. And if you don't turn this corner up here, you're never going to be able to substantially get a result. And if you are going to get the results, you'll never be able to keep it. Why? Because there is no way to outwork a bad diet. And I'm not saying that these things doesn't have a place in your life. There is time and places that you're going to be able to enjoy one of these amazing foods. But if you're a person that you are an emotional eater, you do self-sabotage all the time, and every single time you start a diet to be successful, and yet after a month you gain everything back with the interest, is because you haven't yet mastered this idea of mindful eating. So what do you do in these particular cases? Like I said before, there is no way of you being able to say, I'm gonna eat that chocolate and it's gonna be less and I'm never gonna eat it again. That's giving a lot of value to chocolate. So what do you need to do instead? You need to actually build a conversation. Number one, you need to start with the benefits in the moment, okay? Because if you do it later, you're doing analysis, but if you actually want to tackle the problem, you have to do it in the moment. And I know this is hard, believe me, I've been struggling for 15 years. You have to understand and ask yourself, what is the benefit of me having this ice cream right now? right? And you're gonna come out with one benefit, which is basically taste. And unfortunately, that taps into the part of our brain that is physiologically speaking the addiction part that releases dopamine, which is basically a hormone that releases happiness. So you know from the past memory that you experienced that if you eat ice cream, you're gonna feel good for about 15 minutes, yet you're gonna feel very guilty afterwards. So the problem with that is that you're hardwired to say yes, even though I know there is no benefits, I'm gonna hit that particular thing. But if you actually look over what happened to the last 15 times you've been doing that, you know exactly that you haven't been successful. So what you need to do instead is actually rating up the benefits. So it's really gonna come up to one benefits, maybe two, which is gonna be taste, number one, and it's gonna be getting a reduction of my stressful day. It could be number two, but it's most about taste. Now, what are the benefits of not having this ice cream right now? You're gonna feel better, you're gonna sleep better, you're gonna get to the results faster, you're gonna be lighter, you're not gonna be bloated, you're gonna be happier, you're not gonna be moody, right? You're gonna be more positive, you're gonna have a more flexible metabolism, and so forth, right? So you can see that there is at least 10 benefits positive of not having this in the moment. Now, how do you actually get there is understanding that you have goals and you really need to make focus on what place this goal has in your life. Like I said before, if you just want your abs and you're not really clear about why you want your abs, or you want to go back to your dress and you don't know exactly why, now this goal has no meaning. But if you want to go back to your dress, because this dress is going to mean that you're going to finally be able to actually walk in front of everybody, and if you're single, all the guys are going to turn and actually watching you, or if you have a husband that you don't have intimacy with right now, and you know that by losing 5 kilo and finally be able to wear that dress is going to increase the level of intimacy you have with your partner, right now the goal has a meaning. And every single time you're about to get this particular food, you still might give in to your cravings, but every single time it's going to get better. And the goal is not about eating it or not eating it. The goal is about making this conversation and stretching out this conversation from 1 minute to 5 minutes to eventually be able to make the right choices and not eating that particular thing. Now, what I want you to do, in addition to learning and implementing these particular tools that I gave you here today, go back to your email and download the guide that is going to tell you the 5 rules you need to know and implement to finally be able to start mindful eating. Now, mindful eating is only one of the steps of our second chance protocol system, which includes 9 steps. And of course, if you want to learn how to implement mindful eating, and if you want to understand exactly how can I help you getting clear on what it takes to learn how to mindful eat, all you can do right now, you actually can get one of the coaching spots here. We have 30 to 45 minutes dedicated to you with me or one of my coaches. We're going to dive deep into your particular situation, and we're going to understand why you're struggling with mindful eating, why you're not able to make the right choices when it comes to food. And unfortunately, when you are not able to make the right choices, you will not build a continuity to actually build the body you love. Why do I do all that, and why do I give the time for free? It's simply because I'm tired of seeing people struggling, and myself has struggled for 15 years with emotional eating. So I don't want you to keep struggling and looking for diets after diets just to end up failing. And the second part is because out of 10 people that I talk to, there is always about 3 to 4 people that understand that if they work with me, they can actually get there much faster in such a way that we keep you accountable, we give you structure, and we give you certainty that you're going to finally get to the results. We have several different type of programs ranging from all prices, so we're going to be able to help you if you do decide that you need our help. But in any case, when you do show up to our call, we're going to give you this particular site for 6 weeks. That is the first mission of the onboarding mission of the second chance, totally for free. This alone is worth about $600, and it's going to be totally for free on your hand when you do show up to the call. So what you need to do, just put in the time, write a detailed application. If it's not detailed, I'm gonna simply cancel it because I'm willing to give you this time. But if I'm more interested about the results that you are, this is a big problem. So put in an amazing application, and I'm gonna see you on the other side.